great to be reading here today in the Wellington Hangar in front of a hurricane. My new poetry collection, Sisters in Spitfires, celebrates the lives and flights of the 164 women who flew with the Air Transport Auxiliary during the Second World War. The ATA was a civilian organisation set up to ferry all types of planes from factories and maintenance units to frontline squadrons. Women came from over 25 countries with the chance to fly anything to anywhere, from Tiger Moths to Wellingtons and Spitfires. Pauline Gower was the driving force behind the women's section, set up on New Year's Day, 1940. In July 41, women were cleared to fly operational aircraft, including Spitfires and Hurricanes, and twin engines such as Mosquitoes and Wellingtons. But during my research, it was the women's stories that really caught my attention. Their mid-air dramas and their ability to fly several types of plane in any one day, most of them flying throughout the war without much of a break. They had no radio or instruments, were at the mercy of the British weather and enemy aircraft. But the women did add some glamour to the endless flying hours, particularly Dorothy Fury, one of the first American women hired by the ATA. So my first poem, A Touch of Silk. I packed my parachute, I packed my evening gown. What more did I need? My Gone with the Wind dress, I called it, essential for a girl dashing about in a plane. We never knew when glamour might beckon, a dinner, a dance, so I packed it just in case, patting down the soft red velvet, cushioned against the tough parachute straps of silk and security. Dorothy Fury, as I said, was one of the first American women hired by the ATA. Flying for her was an interesting interlude. And she went on to breed racehorses and take up scuba diving at the age of 77. And this poem celebrates one pilot from Argentina who found herself on the cover of Picture Post. The cover girl. Maureen Dunlop was caught on the cover of Picture Post, stepping fresh from a plane. A breeze ruffling her curls, she graced every breakfast table, set many hearts aflame. It was the perfect press moment, unscripted, and they knew it. She was forever that girl from the plane, one hand to her hair, cap and goggles in the other, an image of carefree glamour. She told the photographers she was busy, had a barracuda to put away, but then smoothed her hair, smiled as the sun fled her youth, a golden bracelet, and there she was, cover girl. And this poem was a response from a male pilot who I was privileged to meet last year, and he told me many memories of the war, but also about his first Spitfire flight and how it was delivered. And the title comes from a line he kept using in our conversation. One fine day. I'd been told my first Spit was waiting at the airfield. It was a day we all looked forward to amid the sorties, the bombs, the long days and the darkest of nights. So one fine day I went to collect it, watched as it taxied towards me, sun gilding its wings, catching it just so. Here I was, my first Spit, and out stepped the pilot. Who would you believe? Just a slip of a girl. There I was, put firmly in my place, but glad she'd ferried it my way. Glad to slip into her seat, to climb and dive like a bird set free on that vivid, virgin flight. And that was for Ralph, who I was lucky enough to have met and who died earlier this year at age 96. This particular poem, Brooklands Swing, was written at the 1940s event last year, a very hot day, up on the balcony, when I just started researching some of the women and realised that a couple of the women, particularly Diana Bonato Walker, actually trained here. With 6 hours to her name, she went up solo after 6 hours, and also flew here a lot before the war. So this poem is Brooklands Swing. They're in the mood, swirling the dance floor, hands skimming hips, scarlet lipstick glossing, all eyeliner, nylon and vintage chic. They're hovering at the stalls, clustering rails, rummaging period pieces, yellowing maps offering up roads still to travel. From the clubhouse balcony, classic cars slip into easy mono as Diana wafts by. Lettuce strides the other way, waiting for the sky. Spring sunlight dances back into Brooklands, crowds lap nostalgia, the glitz and glamour of bygone days, cheering races, applauding flights. And just a little sort of legacy from Diana here. She wrote about her first solo at Brooklands. She wrote a fantastic book called Spreading My Wings. She was a real character if you had a chance to read about her. But she also wrote about her first solo, which stayed with her. She thinks then she had a guardian angel which saved her from many a mid-air drama, many a ground floor drama too. So first solo at Brooklands, 1938. As I was taxiing out to try to keep the Tiger in the sky, a little man with wave and leer came running to the cockpit side. He put his claws upon the wing, impelling me to turn to him, and said above the engine's din, don't fly, miss, look and see what aviation's done to me." I scanned his scarred and broken face, and horror shuddered in my mind. What flying now could do to me, and I would end up same as he. Don't spoil your beauty, dear lady, I'm only meaning to be kind. And 75 years ago, Amy Johnson disappeared over the Kent coast on an ATA mission. And I'll give you some information about Amy over there. And this poem considers those left behind. On such a day, our hearts sank when we guessed the worst, or dared to let ourselves imagine. On such a day, we stayed on the ground, not wishing to tempt fate. On such a day, we looked upwards, almost at the same minute, the same hour. We couldn't help ourselves, automatically scanning for any signs of life. On such a day, we stretched aching muscles, pinching our flesh raw, while waiting for news that never fully surfaced. We knew in our hearts, she was gone. This poem reflects on the very matter-of-fact nature of many of the jobs in war, and this was the ground crew, particularly Operations Officer Alison Hill, who met and worked with so many of the women. Moving up the blackboard. The call came, the one we all dreaded, when her voice would change, her eyes take on that strained, far-away look. She'd carefully cover the mouthpiece, nod over in my direction, I'd lower my eyes, try to stop my stomach falling. Another one down. Details as yet unknown. Other lives and histories would be forever changed at their loss. That we knew. But for now, we had to log the details, find a way to move on through the war, to keep doing our bit up in the skies. Even before she'd replaced the receiver, I'd wiped the blackboard, filled in any gaps. It was good for morale. It had to be done. And finally, the ATA flag was lowered for the last time at White Waltham, November the 30th, 1945. So this last poem is A Rapid Dispersal. We knew it was almost over. A few of us posed to lay up the flag at White Waltham, November 45. Many had already gone. We smiled into the distance, still young, but perhaps wondering if the most exciting part of our lives was behind us. We knew not. Some of us were more than ready to hang up our uniforms, take down our golden wings. We knew we'd done our bit, and more. For others, it was a wrench. We were simply expected to pick up our lives, our jobs, our kitchen sinks. But on that bittersweet winter's day, as Audrey Sale Barker lowered the flag, we knew we'd given our best years to the sky, and mostly seen it through. Yet some part of us would emerge from stray corners of chilly airfields, remembering those we'd lost along the way.